This is a $10 Transformer, this is a $15 Transformer, and this is somehow a $400 Transformer. We're going to be taking a look at a list of Transformers from the most affordable prices to figures that make you go, what the F, does it even deserve to be that pricey? You're really baiting on people's nostalgia, aren't you? Starting with the most affordable option, the Core Class Optimus Prime, which is not really my favorite. Initially released as part of the Kingdom line for $10, and then later repackaged into the Legacy line for $11.99. This simplified version of Optimus Prime is pretty small, standing only at around 3.75 inches. He comes with one weapon, his Ion Blaster, and the figure itself has a really good amount of detail. Now, being small doesn't really hinder this figure too much. Unlike the other thing I have, the articulation on this figure is mostly ball joints, which I really do like. However, I'm not a big fan of this kibble piece at the back and the hollow legs. And the vehicle mode on this is not the best. I'm not a big fan of this figure, but I do have an appreciation for it. Next up, rounding up to $12, we have the Superman Optimus Prime. This figure is actually an oversized knockoff of the Core Class Optimus Prime. And side by side, it towers it in comparison. The design on this figure is practically the same, except the colors resemble Superman. The alt mode looks weird with that color scheme though. All the articulation is exactly the same as well. He also comes with a cape that splits into 3 pieces, and for whatever reason, he also comes with Starscream's null ray. The head also has his symbol on there, which I really do not like. Moving up to the $15 range, this knockoff of the Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime is a great option for collectors who love the Bumblebee movie and the G1 design. The darker color scheme and the die-cast metal chest piece really make this figure stand out from the official Studio Series version. However, the transformation can be a bit tricky on this one, with some parts of the figure being finicky and not wanting to tab into place properly for the vehicle mode. But once you do manage to get it into the truck mode, it looks absolutely amazing, and you won't be disappointed with the final result. In the $25 range, we have Legacy Alita 1, which is a great addition to any Transformers collection, especially if you're a fan of female Autobots, because let's face it, this franchise is a pretty big sausage fest. She has a really cute aesthetic to her, unlike her IDW counterpart, which is a Damima. Just like RC in the G1 continuity, this character is predominantly pink, but this figure adds a maroon color to it as well. Also, mine came with a stain, which is disappointing. Her vehicle mode has a sleek and elegant design with a feminine touch. The articulation on this figure is pretty good, and it has a decent range of motion, which makes it fun to pose. She comes with translucent blue weapons and a faux headpiece meant to stick out in her vehicle mode, which personally I'm not a big fan of. I am a fan of you subscribing though, please, I'm begging you. But overall, this is definitely a good figure. Also at $25, we have Legacy Hotshot. I love this guy. This guy's amazing. You should buy this figure. That's all I have to say. Moving up to around the $32 range, we have Siege Optimus and Siege Megatron from the War for Cybertron trilogy. They have a good level of detail and articulation to them. The head sculpt on both of these figures are great, and I really like how the figures have that updated G1 design to them. They also reuse this Megatron mold so many times. Megatron turns into a tank while Optimus turns into his classic truck. However, I don't like these sticking out at the top. Legacy Armada Starscream is definitely one of the top figures you can find in the $35 range. I'm not gonna lie, I might be biased with my nostalgia on this one. The figure isn't perfect, but it is a great representation of the character from the Transformers Armada series. He looks like he was just ripped straight out of the show. The articulation on this figure is pretty good, and the transformation is very close to the original. He looks pretty much just like the original figure, except at a much smaller scale. The figure comes with Starsaber, but unfortunately no minicons, and instead of his wing turning into a sword, he comes with a separate piece for the sword, which I think is a plus. One downside though is while this figure is a Voyager class figure, it feels very deluxe-ish. This is a masterpiece Optimus Prime figure in the $60 to $80 range, except it's not, it's actually a knockoff. This KO figure is a larger version of the original MP10 Optimus Prime, which is highly sought after by collectors because it's just an amazing figure. It has the addition of a die-cast metal chest piece, which houses a Matrix of Leadership, a key accessory for any Optimus Prime figure. I would be careful when removing it though, because I did accidentally break the housing for mine. The Matrix of Leadership looks really nice, and it is die-cast. He comes with an Energon axe, the Ion Blaster, and a Spike figure, which no one cares about. The figure does have a few issues though, as most knockoffs do. The quality control may not be up to par with the original, and some parts may be looser than they should be, which, let's face it, is an issue with some modern day official Transformers figures as well. Despite those issues, this figure is much more affordable than the original. This figure can be bought for around $80, and this is the Alternator's Optimus Prime. I hate this figure. It's got some loose parts and it's very flimsy. The transformation is also just god-awful, which I'm not going to do for the video, so here's the image instead. I want to take a hammer to this figure and destroy it. The character design isn't the best either. These figures are meant to be more like model cars than giant robots, and I feel like that makes the robot mode and these lines of figures suffer greatly. I mean, come on. What is that? And the design of this was also used in Kiss Players, which is one of the weirdest pieces of Transformers media to exist. If you own that manga, you might get an FBI raid. For $100 to $150 is the music label Soundwave. This is an officially licensed Takara product, and a unique take on the classic character that combines the G1 design with an MP3 player. The figure has decent articulation, it can transform, and even comes with a pair of headphones, which just seem like simple cheap headphones. Basically, they suck. It does require a 1GB mini SD card, which is quite an inconvenience compared to more modern micro SD cards. And no, you cannot charge this. It takes one AAA battery to operate. This is an old piece of tech. As an MP3 player, it's fairly basic. You have the play, pause, forward, and back buttons. But the novelty of having a transformer that doubles as an MP3 player is what makes this figure stand out. In the $130 range, you have the optional girl from Alien Attack Toys. This is a third-party figure that's based off of Optimus Prime, if you couldn't tell. This figure features an impressive level of detail on the robot parts and a great amount of articulation, but some of the joints may be loose and fall off. It also does technically have an alt mode, where she can be fully naked. Yeah, this is probably the weirdest figure on the list. Also, disassembling it and reassembling it is a wild form of hell you don't want to go through. It comes with an array of accessories that I show off in my full video of this, and some scary lady bits. It also comes with a bikini swimsuit for a more modest display. The figure does come with water slide decals if you want those flames on there. I never bothered to add them because I'm too lazy and too scared to do it. The figure does require a bit of assembly out of the box, which is no big deal. However, like I said earlier, disassembling it and reassembling it into the more scary form can be difficult. And it does have quite a bit of paint chipping issues on these skin parts. Overall though, if you want an Optimus Prime figure that looks like an anime girl or Hatsune Miku, this is a good figure to get. At $300, that's right, $300, we have Cybertron Optimus. Originally, this figure was $39.99 back in 2004, which is about $64.60 in today's money. But it's now being sold for up to around $300, which is a form of suffering for me because I really want this figure in its original colors to fill the void inside of me from losing the one I used to own. This is the black and red variant, and I am missing a few pieces, so sorry about that. He's supposed to have a blaster and 3 spring-loaded missile pieces, along with a cyber planet key. He transforms into a fire truck, but let's be honest, that looks nothing like a fire truck at all. He has his base mode, which is cool and all, but he also has a super mode where he becomes even larger. Finally, at the top of this really dumb list, we have Generation 2 Optimus, which ranges from $200 to $400 in box. This toy is basically the G1 release of the figure, except it has some darker colors. And the trailer this time around is black with a red and silver sticker displaying Optimus's name. The transformation is super easy and satisfying to do, and the vehicle mode looks amazing. It has die-cast parts for the chest and the feet, and these spots in his chest were actually meant for die-clone figures. He has some nice stickers inside the trailer, and the figure comes with an array of accessories. I am missing a few though. He also comes with this black module that has lights and sounds, which I also don't have. That seems to be a recurring theme throughout this video. If you get lucky, you might find this figure for a lower price, and then I would say it's worth it. But for what people are selling it for, I definitely think you should save your money for bigger and better stuff, like that Legacy Armada Optimus coming out. Holy fuck. Anyways, if you're interested in seeing that review of the G2 Optimus, check that out here, or check out that video for the music label Soundwave. And comment below what figure is your favorite.